In 1 Kings 17, we have a story about Elijah. First, he was fed by ravens, and then he went to a woman in Zarephath, it says here, which belongeth to Zidon. Tyre and Zidon were very wicked cities. They were areas, that in the northernmost part of Canaan, on the coast. And they worship Baal. These people were shipbuilders. They compassed the earth I don't know how many times. I shouldn't say compassed, really, because the earth is flat. But they've been all to the four corners of the earth, and with their ships that they built. And they knew that the earth was flat. Read about it in the book. It's called The Phoenicians. I can't think of the author's name right now. But this says, So he arose and went to Zarephath. And when he came to the gate of the city, behold, the widow woman was there gathering of sticks. And he called to her and said, Fetch me, I pray thee, a little water in a vessel, that I may drink. And as she was going in to fetch it, he called to her and said, Bring me, I pray thee, a morsel of bread in thine hand. And she said, As the Lord thy God liveth, I have not a cake, but a handful of meal in a barrel, and a little oil in a cruse. And behold, I am gathering 2 sticks, that I may go in and dress it for me and my son, that we may eat it and die. And Elijah said unto her, Fear not. Go and do as thou hast said, but make me thereof a little cake first, and bring it unto me. And after make for thee and for thy son. For thus saith the Lord God of Israel, The barrel of meal shall not waste, neither shall the cruse of oil fail, until the day that the Lord sendeth rain upon the earth. And she went and did according to the saying of Elijah, and she and he and her house did eat many days. This many is italicized. Many days. And is italicized. The barrel of meal wasted not, neither did the cruse of oil fail, according to the word of the Lord, which he spake by Elijah. And I put here the living seed of Israel. You've got the meal and you've got the oil that are not wasting. And as I read this, I realized that he's talking here. Not only did it actually happen, this event, but it is also a story about how God's people are still alive on this earth today. They have not wasted neither the meal nor the oil. There are people that will try to tell you, and this is another horrible lie from the pit of hell, the seed of Israel is all dead and all we've got is the Jews and Judah. First of all, Jews are not Hebrews. Jews are Esau. Judah is still in a kind of captivity. I believe they are the Slavs because they were sold to Greece and they became the Orthodox peoples. Not all of them. There's only going to be a small remnant left. What I wanted to read now was, as I was reading this parable, this story that I just read to you, it says here, she gathered 2 sticks. That is how I realized. It just dawned on me. Bam. I've read this story before. But all of a sudden I realized, oh, it's the story about the 2 sticks. Here we've got the parable of the 2 sticks. Ezekiel 37:12, and this is what a lot of people, particularly the end-time pilgrim, he calls himself, Gavin Finley. He's an anesthesiologist. He's a splendid writer and a very good talker. But I'll tell you what, he's a deceiver also. I've had some correspondence with him years ago when I didn't know the whole story, but I knew something was wrong with what he was saying. He's talking about a commonwealth of Israel. But he says this commonwealth of Israel must recognize the Jews as Judah, and they are not Judah. How can we possibly believe that the Jews are Judah when we know that Judah was scattered? And we know that Judah and Israel were gathered unto Christ because we've read John 12. And we know they're going to be gathered again at the end of time because we've read Isaiah 11:11, amongst others. I'm just picking out the verses that I've memorized. I'm not good at memorizing verses. There's so many great ones, and, you know, the best thing to do would be to make a list and just memorize. But anyhow, so we've got here in Ezekiel 37:15, the parable of the 2 sticks. Take thee 1 stick and write upon it for Judah, for the children of Israel, and for the children of Israel his companions. You see, they're mentioning Judah first. A lot of times when it comes to the genealogies, you know, they always putting Judah first, as though he had preeminence. Judah in no way or wise had preeminence, but they did this in order to enforce upon your mind and mine that the Jews are Judah and the Jews are the chosen people. Israel has been wiped out. They're lost. They've disappeared. Why should they have disappeared? That's not what it says in the Bible. I just read the parable of the 2 sticks in Kings with Elijah. The meal and the oil will not waste until the latter rain. You see, and the latter rain has not come yet. This is thrilling. As I was reading it, I thought, I've read this, I don't know, at least several times. And I never got that out of it, and bam, it hit me. The 2 sticks. So, Ezekiel 37:15, the word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Moreover, thou, son of man, take thee 1 stick and write upon it for Judah, and for the children of Israel his companions. Then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel his companions. Well, this is a little bit misleading, I would say, because Judah is not Israel, for one thing. It would have been enough just to have said, take 1 stick for Judah and 1 stick for Israel. Joseph, Ephraim, you see. This is the magnification of Israel through Joseph. Or Joseph through Israel. For Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel, join them one to another into 1 stick, and they shall become one in thine hand. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, Wilt thou not show us what thou meanest by these? Say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel, his fellows, and will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in my hand. Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whither they be gone, and will gather them on every side, and bring them into their own land. I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king unto them all. And they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms any more at all. Actually, it was the kingdom of Israel and the tribe of Judah, including Benjamin. Neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions. But I will save them out of all their dwelling places wherein they have sinned. I will save them, he says. It doesn't say anything here about World War I and World War II. The shed blood of Ephraim, so that the Jews, so that Esau could go into Canaan and call it Israel, down in Jebus. Jerusalem is Jebus, because that's where the Jebusites lived. And David my servant shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments, and observe my statutes, and do them. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt, and they shall dwell therein, even they and their children's children, forever. And my servant David shall be their prince forever. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them. I will place them and multiply them. I will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore. My tabernacle also shall be with them. Tabernacle. God with us, Emmanuel. Yea, I will be their God, and they shall be my people, and the heathen shall know that I, the Lord, do sanctify Israel, when my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore.